Emily was 15 years old. She loved to draw and read, spending most of her free time with a pencil in her hand or a book on her lap. Art was her safe place, a world where she didn't have to explain herself or feel different. But Emily's life wasn't easy. She had a condition that made her muscles and joints hurt a lot. Because of this, she used a cane to help her walk. The cane wasn't just a tool, it was part of her daily life, helping her get through hallways and stairs that sometimes felt impossible. At school, Emily was quiet. She didn't talk much in class, and stayed mostly to herself. The school wasn't very welcoming to kids like her. There were few ramps or special desks, and most students didn't know how to include her in activities. The cane made Emily stand out. It drew eyes, whispers, and sometimes stares she wished she could disappear from. She tried her best to avoid attention, to blend into the background, hoping no one would notice her too much. Still, she wanted to fit in, to be seen for more than just her cane or her condition. She dreamed of having friends who understood her, who liked her for her art and her kindness. But every day felt like a quiet battle against feeling invisible and different. At first, the teasing was small, little jokes and whispers that Emily tried to ignore. It started with a few kids in her grade. They would snicker when she walked by or make comments about her cane, calling it names like old-fashioned stick or walking twig. Emily felt the words sting, but she kept quiet. She thought if she didn't react, maybe they would stop. But the teasing didn't stop. Instead, it grew louder and nastier. One day, while Emily was drawing in the corner of the cafeteria, a group of students walked up to her table. They knocked over her sketchbook, scattering her drawings across the floor. "Why do you always carry that stupid cane?" one of them sneered. "You're just slow and weird." Emily's face burned. She bent down quickly to gather her drawings but didn't say a word. The kids laughed and walked away, leaving her feeling small and powerless. The teachers noticed some of the teasing but didn't do much. They told Emily to be strong and ignore the bullies. But ignoring them only made Emily feel lonelier. Her parents worried when she started spending more time alone in her room. They saw the sadness in her eyes but didn't always know how to help. Despite everything, Emily held on to the things she loved, her art and books. They were her escape when school felt too hard. But every day the bullying chipped away at her confidence and made her feel like she didn't belong. Still, deep inside, Emily hoped things would change. She wished someone would stand up for her, or that she could find a way to be heard. One afternoon, Emily was walking down the hallway, her cane tapping softly on the floor. She kept her head down, hoping to get to class without trouble. But that day, the bullying took a new cruel turn. A group of older students surrounded her near the lockers. One boy grabbed her cane and snapped it in half with a loud crack. Emily gasped, tears welling up in her eyes. She stumbled, nearly falling without her support. "Maybe now you'll finally be normal," one of them sneered, laughing with the others. Emily wanted to shout, to tell a teacher, but her voice felt stuck. She felt scared and alone in a way she never had before. After the incident, Emily's parents were furious when she told them what happened. They called the school immediately and demanded action. This time the principal promised to investigate and keep Emily safe, but even with more attention, Emily still felt invisible. The kids whispered behind her back, and some teachers seemed unsure how to help. The school tried to make small changes, like adding more ramps and talking about kindness, but it wasn't enough. Emily stopped carrying her broken cane for a while, trying to be strong on her own. But walking was harder, and she quickly realized she needed it more than ever. At home, her art became her refuge. She filled page after page with drawings of strong heroes and peaceful places, a world where she wasn't judged or bullied. One day, a classmate named Sarah noticed Emily's drawings. Sarah was friendly, and didn't seem to care about the cane or the bullying. She asked Emily if she could see more of her art. For the first time in a long while, Emily felt a small spark of hope. Maybe she wasn't as invisible as she thought. Sarah started sitting with Emily at lunch. She didn't care about the cane or the whispers around them. Instead, she talked about the drawings, asking questions about the stories behind them. Emily was surprised. No one had ever really looked at her art like that before. Slowly she began to open up, sharing ideas and dreams she had kept hidden for so long. Word spread that Sarah and Emily were friends. At first some kids made fun of Sarah for hanging out with the girl with the cane. But Sarah didn't care. She stood by Emily, and that made Emily feel stronger. One day Sarah helped Emily sign up for the school's art contest. Emily was nervous but excited. She poured her feelings into a drawing of a girl standing tall with a bright light shining behind her. A picture of hope and courage. The bullying didn't stop completely, but having Sarah there made it easier to face the hard days. Emily's confidence grew bit by bit. But just when things seemed to be getting better, a cruel surprise waited ahead. Emily thought things were finally looking up. But one afternoon, everything changed. During art class, Emily overheard some students whispering. They had found her drawing of the girl standing tall, the one she had worked so hard on for the contest. To her shock, someone had taken a picture of it and shared it online. The comments were cruel and hurtful. People called the girl a freak and mocked Emily for trying too hard. Even worse, some students said Sarah only pretended to be her friend. Emily felt crushed. Her safe place, her art, was now a target too. The betrayal cut deeper than the bullying itself. Sarah noticed Emily withdrawing again and tried to talk to her. But Emily didn't want to believe her friend could stand up to the crowd. The loneliness returned stronger than before. Emily began doubting herself, wondering if she would ever find a place where she belonged. Just when everything seemed darkest, something unexpected happened. Someone else stepped in. After the online bullying got worse, a teacher named Miss Rivera noticed something was wrong. She had seen Emily's quiet strength and her beautiful drawings before. Miss Rivera reached out to Emily privately, offering support and encouragement. She told Emily that no one should ever be made to feel small because of who they are. With Miss Rivera's help, the school organized an assembly about kindness and respect. They shared stories about students with different challenges and talents, reminding everyone that everyone deserves to be treated with dignity. To Emily's surprise, Sarah stood up during the assembly and spoke about friendship and loyalty. She told the whole school how important it was to support each other, no matter what. Slowly, other students began to change. Some apologized to Emily, and others started asking to see her art. Emily even won an award for her drawing in the school's art contest, not because she was perfect, but because she was brave enough to share her story. Though the scars of bullying didn't disappear overnight, Emily found a new kind of strength inside herself. She learned that standing up and asking for help could change her world. And most importantly, she realized she was never truly invisible, not to those who cared. That night, Emily sat at her desk, holding her art award in her hands. It wasn't just a prize, it was proof that she had fought through the darkest days. She looked at her cane resting by the door. It was still part of her, but now it didn't feel like a burden. It was a reminder of how far she had come. Emily thought about all the moments she had felt invisible and alone. But now she knew those moments didn't define her. She had friends like Sarah, teachers like Miss Rivera, and most of all her own courage. Tomorrow would still have challenges, but Emily was ready to face them. She smiled softly, knowing she could stand tall, not just because of her cane, but because of the strength inside her heart. Her story wasn't just about pain or struggle. It was about hope, kindness, and finding light even when the world seemed dark. And with that hope, Emily knew she could create a future where no one would ever feel invisible again.